we are so excited to be talking with Tyson Keller from Moxon Ben Mental Health Institute today for this edition of our post-up interview. Tyson, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so kind of start us off. Tell us a little bit about your role at Moxon Ben Mental Health Institute and what you do down there.
Okay, so I am the adjunctive therapy director. So basically, we do the rec therapy aspect component of the treatment plan and recovery aspect here at Moxon Ben. So we are providing recreation, leisure skills to our patients, and all kinds of things that are helping them with that recovery aspect.
That's really cool. So what does that look like? If I post up there at Mox and Ben, I go in the front door past the mosaic and somehow clear security, and I see Tyson doing his job. What does that look like?
So basically, each day we are facilitating groups. They're all ranges from some type of art therapy, music therapy. We include some co-op games to help with some of our patients with their social skills or interacting with others. We also do some basic recovery groups. In some of our programs, we do a lot of programs or activities that help with patients with that transition from hospitalization back into the community kind of thing. So to make that transition a little bit better, a little bit easier, so we don't have patients cycling back in. So it's just a bunch of different little activities that we are doing to help improve the quality of life for some of our patients, kind of thing.
Totally, totally. What when you're working with people, what is what does progress look like? What does success look like for the patients you work with?
Seeing them implement that stuff that you just taught them into their actual day-to-day stuff. So trying to bring some type of normalcy to their life while they're here at the hospital, but seeing them actually take something that you taught them and apply it into their day-to-day life. So like I said, if it's a healthy lifestyle group that we're doing, seeing the patient is like, oh, I don't want the soda, can I get a smoothie instead? Stuff like that. Makes helps you know that like, are you making some type of a change or you're hitting something stuck kind of thing.
That's cool. That's cool. And so I've heard about the Blazer program. Is that under you? Is that your area?
Yes, yes, that's in
Tell
our
me
AT
tell me about
department.
the Blazer program because that is a really cool model.
Okay, yeah, the Blazer program is a program. It's been here since I came back, 2018, I want to say. So basically, what it is a program to help some of our patients with that have a long stay here at the hospital, helping them relearn some of those basic life skills, those basic vocational skills that help them with that transition back into the community. So what we do is we gear a lot of the programming and a lot of the activities towards to simulate kind of what a group home setting would be like. So we work with them with the different life skills, whether that's going to budgeting, teaching them how to budget. We work through some other skills, teaching them how to manage day-to-day life when it comes to pain or medicine and everything like that. Teaching them how to maneuver kind of around the city, especially if they're here local. So we had started teaching our partnership or working with the local Carter bus service, so we're teaching them how to ride the bus and how to get to doctor's appointments and stuff like that as well, and teaching them all about the different resources that they have. So give them a better chance when they're out to be successful compared to having nothing and then cycling back right back into the hospital kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. We hear a lot about people being hospitalized and discharge planning, but those sort of like soft skills that set people up for success. In addition, like it's one thing to have an appointment at a community mental health center, but if you can't ride the bus to get there, right?
Yes,
Like that seems like that's where y'all come in. That program really makes a difference for people.
yes, yeah. It's really teaching them a lot of those skills that and letting them know that those resources are out there.
Yeah, right on. And you guys got an award for that.
Yeah, last year Rutgers University had a like best inpatient hospitalization program, and it was a nationwide award. And we were one of the finalists, and when we won, we found out that we won the award like last November, kind of thing, and everything. So came with a nice little plaque and some other good
Do you have the
stuff.
plaque? I want to see the
Yes.
plaque. Oh, look at that. Very
So,
cool.
so yeah, so we have this one that stays back here in AT. Then we have another one that's at the front of the hospital in the lobby.
So that's a perfect setup for our 5 questions with Tyson
Mhm.
Keller. All right, question one. How did you come to join Team TDMHSAS?
I came My wife is actually from Chattanooga area. I'm from Bristol, Tennessee. And I, for years, like almost 15 plus years, I was working with the Boys and Girls Club. Thought I would have retired working with the Boys and Girls Club.
Mm.
Loved it and everything. But she was wanting to move somewhere closer back to home, and I went to school for rec therapy. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, if we're gonna move, like, I would love to try to see if I can find something that is in that field I went to school for. Seen this opening and had applied for it. Um, I had did the interview and almost forgot about it because it was a long process. And he out of the blue got called to for the job and everything, and that was in I think 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was in 2014, and I had worked here for a good two years, and then I think I had left for a little bit and then came back and been back since. So I've been back for like the last 5 plus years, 5 maybe 6 years. But yeah, really, it was really my wife wanting to get out of Bristol, and so that got us to the Chattanooga area and then working with the state and applying and working with the state.
That's awesome. That's okay. So, question 1A.
Mhm.
What made you want to do rec therapy? How did you choose that as a major, as a career path?
It was an accident. Actually, when I went to Middle Tennessee State,
Yeah.
and at that time
Go
I
Blue
was
Raiders.
yes, yes, yes. At that time I was I, my major was athletic training,
Okay.
and I wanted to be an athletic trainer. Then I got into the program. I was like, "Ah, I don't know if this is really what I want to do, kind of thing." So then I was looking for something that was going to give me some type of fun, but be active and everything like that. So I stumbled across, I talked with one of the advisors and stumbled across rec therapy. And I thought it was just like a fun version of physical therapy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll try that. Got in that first class and it was completely opposite of what I thought.
Oh, wow.
um, and back then when I was in school for it, it centered more around kids with special needs and geriatrics.
Yeah.
So I had a teacher, I had a great teacher, I mean, Miss Pittner, and she really got me excited about rec therapy. So I ended up sticking with it. And then I did my volunteer hours with a therapeutic riding program that
Mhm.
was local. And then I also volunteered at the Murfreesboro VA hospital
Mm.
and everything. So it eventually just grew on me, and I was like, I've enjoyed it ever since. So it got to utilize a lot of what I learned from school with rec therapy
Mhm.
during my time at the Boys and Girls Club as well. And so now I got like the best of both worlds when it comes to my programming and activities and stuff that I do. I try to combine it to make it one engaging and fun for patients where they're not feeling like they're getting a lesson. They
Right.
play with a purpose kind of thing.
Mhm. Right on. Right on.
But yeah,
Right on.
it was definitely an accident.
A happy accident, right?
Yes, it was.
Bob
Yes.
Ross, happy little accident. Yeah, very cool. All right, question two, and you may have just answered it, so no spoilers. Question two:
Okay.
what is an experience, personal or professional, that shaped who you are and still influences you today?
I would say that would be during my time during my actually my college internship. Um, Miss Pittner, she had me. I did my internship at a special needs summer camp.
Mhm.
So the whole goal of that camp, and the camp was in the same building, but one end of the school, and then the other end, the general camp was at the other end of the school. And our goal, so before the camp started, our goal was to make our camp adaptable or very similar to everything that the general camp was doing. So the kids didn't feel like, oh, I'm getting left
Yeah.
out, or we're getting this is a special needs camp kind of thing.
Hmm.
So we spent like a week of adapting a lot of the equipment and some of the programming and stuff like that. Love that. But one of the times during it, camp, there was a kid. His name is Will. Love the kid, and he had cerebral palsy, and he had a twin brother that went to the general camp, and he actually went to the general camp too as well because the parents didn't want to split them up and everything like that.
Yeah.
So they were actually going to in Nashville Shores,
Mm.
as one of the outings and everything like that. So they asked me if I would go with them for the rec therapy aspect of it,
Yeah.
and that whole process, when I tell you, was tiring. He was 13, I think 12 or 13, and wanted to ride every ride that was there. So, with him having cerebral palsy, I literally was carrying him up the steps of every of the high slides,
Yeah.
and then I will get to the top. I'll go down first, and then they'll let him come down, and then I would catch him, we'll swim out of the pool, go to the next ride. And when I say we did every ride at least 3 or 4 times, but after it was over, as we were walking out, there was a random lady that came up to me. She goes, "I've been watching you all day." And that was the most remarkable thing I've ever seen in my life. And that kind of is what really got me to stick with rec therapy. Just being able to make a kid not feel different just for that one day kind
Right.
of thing. So I would, like I said, that would be the moment. But the person who really helped me was Miss Pittner. But she definitely has been like a great mentor for me, like throughout the whole process, even at my time at the Boys and Girls Club.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. You may you we keep getting ahead on questions. Man, All right, question 3. Who is someone who inspires you? Who is someone who inspires you? And you can't say
Miss
legendary
Pittner.
MTSU professor, Miss Pittner.
All right, I won't. Actually, my grandfather. From a young age, my grandfather instilled like a solid work ethic in me. They owned a grocery store and a catering hall in New York when I was little, and each summer or during the summers when I would go visit up there in the summers, he'd have me working almost full time hours as a 11-year old,
Yeah.
working 1 to 9 at the grocery store kind of thing.
Child labor
So
laws. Who needs them?
yeah, yes, yes. Should have turned him in.
Right?
but
Sorry,
but
pops.
but no, he was one that really pushed in me though a lot of the things that you want, you gotta work for it. There's nothing that's gonna be given to you kind of thing. So that money that I did make, that's what's how I used to buy my summer clothes and stuff for the summer. Now they would help, but he wanted to make sure there's nothing that's going to be given to you kind of thing. So I would say my grandfather definitely inspires me because even tired him now, he still tries to find work. Man will never sit down.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, question 4. What is the best part of your job?
Interacting with the patients, seeing the patients laugh, seeing the patients enjoy, doing a group and seeing majority of the patients truly enjoy the activity and say like, "Oh, that was fun. Can we do this again tomorrow?" Or, "Oh, I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna try to see if I can use that when I get out of here," kind of thing. So seeing the interacting with the patients and interacting with my team, I believe I got an amazing team. They definitely one make my job easier, but they are some of the best and creative people I've in my whole time working AT or working with the state has come across. So working with them is definitely one of the best parts of my day. But also, like I said, the patients, seeing the patients really enjoy what the product that you put out and everything.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Last of our fast 5. What are you excited about?
I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah.
Seeing what we can do with our patients, what we can add. Taking the Blazer program to what's the next level in the Blazer program? What's the next level in our regular programming here? We already got some ideas and some things that we're looking at doing, and just seeing how we can help our patients have just a little bit of normalcy while they're here at the hospital, kind of thing. So 2026 career wise, I'm just excited to see like what this department, what this team can do. Personally, is spend more time or more family time to in vacations or anything like that.
Mhm.
We kind of shorted ourselves last year, but I think this year we're trying to be more intentional with our vacations and stuff like that. But career wise, I definitely want to see what this team can produce and what this team can do going into the future.
Yeah, I have a question about so I think there's a lot of stigma or preconceived notions about what it means to work at a mental health institution. What's something that you would tell somebody who's considering a career change or transitioning into a job in this kind of field at a mental health institute?
I would say most people, I think that yeah, they do have that stigma, but when you look at each person or each patient as a person, it makes it so much easier. Because you could easily be like, oh, this person's this and they can't do this, but just looking at them as an individual, as a person, everything like that, it's just the certain circumstances got them here, kind of thing. So not going in there with the judgment of thinking like, oh, this is this, there it is, this, this. It makes the day go by easier, and it makes the activity fun, kind of thing. So I would always tell people like, hey, just whatever thoughts that you had going into it, clear your mind and everything like that, and just have fun. Like, we all have an expectation here at the hospital, but we like to have fun while we're doing it, kind of thing.
And then I just have one more on my
Mhm.
side, which is that you've been in this career for a while and you've been with the state for, nowadays anywhere more than 3 years is a long time, right? And you've been there a lot more than that. What do you credit to your longevity in this career?
Solid people around me. That's one of my things. Like I said, I will always rave about this team that I have, but having those days where I may not have it, I have people around me that can boost me up. When they need it, I'm there to always support them. So I would say having a solid group of people around me keeps me always like, all right, I want to come back and keep going, keep doing this.
Tyson, thank you so much for doing this.
All right,
Really
no problem.
appreciate all that you do at Moccasin Bend, and keep on keeping on, man. Hope you accomplish all your goals in 2026.
All right, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.